Welcome to 13 Minutes of News in 13 minutes or less. All right, this is what we got going on, guys. First things first, I want to talk about The Driven Dad, Bud Soda, and John McCallion. 3 awesome channels. Go check them out. Like a video or two. If you're digging the content, you think you might like it, give it a stay and hit subscribe while you're there. Also, MiddletonTech.com. Driver Utility Helper, Maximo, Flex Alert, all very important. WorkSolo.com, Solo app. Make sure you guys are downloading the Solo app. It is guaranteeing earnings on the platform. So you're already doing what they're going to guarantee. Worst case scenario, you get some extra money. That's it. And then also, guys, check out Moves Financial. Moves is quite simply banking for gig workers and understands the woes that we go through and some of the challenges that we face when we need to use banking for more than just an ATM card and a place to store money. So that said, guys, let's jump in. The first one that I want to talk about real quick didn't involve my channel, but I liked the piece we did, and it was somebody I just mentioned, John McCallion. Guys, he's like 29 or 39, I don't know, he's something from 500, and it's a milestone. So let's get John to 500 before the gig conference coming up. So John's piece is entitled "The Great Resignations: Are Americans Too Lazy to Work?" Again, everything, guys, especially when I'm relating to it here now. This is the new tie to 13 minutes, is that everything I'm going to talk about, whether I wrote it, whether it came from another channel, whether it came from another news source, whatever I'm talking about here can always be found at uberlyftdrivers.com. So I will always just have the website in there. And if you guys want to go explore, you'll find not just what I'm talking about here today, but tons more. And if the headline or the top articles, because there's at least one every day comes out, if the top articles aren't the ones grabbing you, do a search and see what you find. You might find a ton of articles that you've never known existed. Please check out the YouTube channel, which you are watching this on right now. But in case little pieces make it to TikTok or Instagram or things like that, please check out the YouTube channel and follow and subscribe Rideshare Rodeo. uberlyftdrivers.com. Okay. So the Great Resignations are Americans too lazy to work. John and I probably got a little sidetracked, but I feel like we do a lot of pieces together. So to be honest, I don't feel like there is a sidetrack for John and I, because if we get sidetracked, I almost feel like it was meant to be, because it's kind of where our conversation organically goes. And he flows like that too, so the two of us kind of just, if we end up somewhere, I feel like we were meant to be there in the discussion. So, but check it out. It was, the whole thing might not be considered about that, but when you really look at the piece as a whole, it is. So check it out. It was a good piece. I enjoyed it. Okay. I love these articles coming out all week. We've been talked about them on the roundtable with Nova Dasher, talked about them some other stuff this week too. The world is rightfully appalled by the Uber files. The drivers aren't so surprised. I am picking one out of about, I shouldn't even say because it's probably everybody, but let's say out of the 25 mainstream news medias, this article, either under that title or something so close or whatever, has appeared in all 25 of the top 25 publications in the country for news, whether they side with Uber usually or not, and wherever the paper's politics are, this has been unavoidable. Because something I want to talk to you guys about was that if I started this in 2017, March of 2017, okay, Super Pump wasn't even thought up. The book wasn't even drafted. Nothing was done. Okay, so I started up because I was working Uber and Lyft at the time, and there was so much craziness that I thought, you know what, this has to be tracked. Because when I wanted to go back and find a story like Phantom or like what were these techniques they were using to do this and that, and the hacks and all the things that were big that were happening. They got harder to find because they got buried by other Uber news that was going on. So I thought, this needs to be archived for gig workers and stuff. So I just kind of started as a pet project for myself at Built. And now on here, dating back to 2017, you can find every story that is in those leaked Uber files. Everyone's in here. You're going to have to go through the 3,000 plus stories in here, but they're all in here from the past 6 years, or this is in our 6th year. We've done 5 years. This is in our 6th year now. And it's all in there. You can find all of it. So from the bro culture to the things of Super Pump to the newly dumped 127,000 page emails, whatever, all of it's in here in enough way for you to understand everything that happened along the way. It's not been hiding. They've just been good at PR, strategy, marketing, and making sure that after something if it had to hit the news and it was bad, how do they immediately either do something else stupid and bad, or how do they do something to total flip you guys to get back on board and think, okay, well, we can move past it. Because these are things a little bit too big to move past. I mean, like, for instance, we have 550 women suing over sexual assault claims. We have the Uber's clearly one of the big takeaways, disruptive, downright harmful to the independent contractors, the way they've made it very difficult to do your taxes for such an easy thing as being an IC. You should just have X goes into X on your tax form. That's it. There should be no breaking it down into different things. And Uber's made this very difficult. So from deceptive tax practices to corporate strategy on disguise, to old problems Uber's always had, now hitting them in new ways, to technologies that they knew they never, ever had a hand in, and that they were in no way global leaders that should be speaking on this stuff. And just everything is in these files. You can find the latest articles here that'll link you to stuff. And then if you want to do deep dives, you can do it within this site. And that's what I will tell you. But yeah, the Uber dump, if you didn't hear about it, it's bad. So now, what do we got in California? We got to end with some California here, guys. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to always talk about this, but this week is important why I'm going to. So, because all the things I'm about to talk about here are some of the things Mike Harubi and I are going to talk about on Tuesday. Again, Mike Harubi, one of the AB5 specialists, lives in Massachusetts, has written legislation federally to stop the PRO Act and keep us independent contractors. He's worked with Congress. I had him on once before, but this piece coming up this Tuesday the 19th, at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. It will be live. Otherwise, you can catch the replay. But if you want to join us live, Mike is a genius, and we have some great conversations, so please join us. And even if you haven't watched all of my other independent contractor videos and whatnot and kept up with all of it over time, this one isn't just so much like, hey, we're going to talk about California. Hey, we're going to talk about Seattle. Hey, we're going to talk about what happened in Massachusetts, which is where Mike lives. We're going to, hey, we're going to talk about the product. We're going to talk about all of it on the table, like how it should matter to you gig workers, what has already happened, what is going to happen, what has already been passed, it already has a start date on when it'll happen, like January 1st of 2023 is a start date for a lot of things. And so, you might think, yeah, it's not yet. Well, okay, it's 6 months out, so you better get quick with it because this is how AB5 happened. But we have a lot more to talk about too. Workers' rights, the right to be an independent contractor, what that means, understanding and knowing, and then setting your own limits for yourself on where your independent contractorship stands. Because basically we are, but now you need to figure out what level of what level of control you need on your work. And you always have the control to cancel, to do any of that. But I mean, what level of control do you need to not only be successful, but be happy while doing this work? Because everybody can get down quick. You get on a social media and you see everybody's earnings are low, this, that, the other. Okay, well, during the bad times, it's always left out that we set our own schedules. Work on your own time. If you worked this morning, didn't make any money, and you decide, oh my gosh, I've got my kids tonight, I can't work. And then all of a sudden one of them gets a sleepover. Well, now you can't work. Now you might make a ton of money. Are you reevaluating? These are what is afforded to us in this country. And unless you want to see it all taken away, please join in the conversation with Mike and I on Tuesday. I invite everybody. And I really do hope to see you guys there. But yeah, the 70,000 truckers out of work in California, the little things they're trying to do to get around it. The California porting truckers are now threatening to stop working. Some of them union, and without the union okay. This is getting very complicated because you got union people stepping out on the union, which is just, personally to me, again, it depends on the field. Teachers need a union. I don't believe in a union for everything in the world. I don't think there should be one. I think there's a few exceptions. Police, fire, teachers, they all need unions. I don't think that independent contractors and people who know how to start their own businesses need unions. And I absolutely, it's one thing if you want to find a way to offer it to them, but it should not be forced down their throat. Okay. Tuesday, Mike Harubi. Also, we're going to talk about what happened to Prop 22. And yes, I'm going to leave it on a cliffhanger. But is Prop 22 over? Not today, but Prop 22 is over and has an end date already. See you guys this week. That's 13 minutes of news in under 13 minutes. Peace!